Welcome back, guys. There's a lot of talk about how this is a subpar running back class in this year's NFL draft, but I think there are a couple of running backs who go against that narrative. So in this episode, we'll be going over my top 8 running backs in this class. Who should we be targeting in rookie dynasty drafts? Who we should be avoiding? Which running backs we should expect to go earliest in the NFL draft? And who should we be targeting in redraft for an instant impact in year 1? Really appreciate you guys watching. This is Faraz Siddiqui from Upper Hand Fantasy. It would mean the world if you can hit the subscribe or follow button on YouTube, or if you're listening to this on your podcast app. It really helps us continue to improve our content on our channels. As of today, the favorite to come off the board first is Texas running back Jonathan Brooks, as early as the second round of the NFL draft, despite the fact that he's rehabbing from ACL surgery. We might see another Texas running back be the first off the board for a second straight year. Brooks is one of 2 running backs in my first tier among these rookies. And I think it's justified. He racked up more than 1,400 total yards this past season and still had a couple of games left to go before he got hurt. He has good size to be a workhorse. He's capable in the receiving game as well. With Brooks' vision, his burst, and that one-cut running style, he would be an ideal fit in a zone run scheme. And among this running back class, Jonathan Brooks was the most efficient across the board when you take everything into account, right? After contact ability, elusiveness, receiving. We're talking 97th, 99th, and 85th percentile in those categories, respectively, across more than 600 Power 5 college running back careers over the last 10 years. And since this is a clean ACL tear without any further ligament damage, no MCL, nothing like that, I'm not too worried about Brooks not having a year 1 impact. And by the way, the Cowboys team doc was the one who performed the surgery, okay? Just saying. Now, before I get into the next running back, let's talk about why draft capital matters for fantasy football, particularly running backs. We're not going to get any first-round running backs this year. I don't think so. But they obviously have the highest hit rate. We're talking almost 70% of running backs who get drafted in the first round end up having a top 12 season at some point in their career. And over the last 10 years, 57% are RB1s in their first season. More relevant for this year, though, 36% of running backs drafted in the second round have a top 12 season at some point, and that falls to 26% in the third round. Not high, but it really drops off after the third round. Okay, we're talking 13%, 9%, 3% the rest of the way. So it has to factor into how we value these running backs in a major way. There's nothing wrong with having a favorite late round running back or a favorite day 3 running back that you're rooting for to get some opportunity, but the numbers are the numbers. Now, I do have a few of those guys, those day 3 guys, that I do recommend taking shots on in my rookie draft kit, okay? Now, in terms of rookie production, 78% of running backs who were top 24 running backs in their first year were drafted on day 1 or day 2, okay? So that's the first 3 rounds. If you want to extend that for running backs in their first 3 seasons to get an idea of how well they're performed for you for the next couple of years, since the year 2000, a first rounder will offer you RB2 numbers or better 55% of the time for the entirety of that time span. A second rounder falls to 28%, and a third rounder falls to 12%. After the third round, don't get encouraged. You can see that there's a theme here, okay? After the third round, you got to get lucky. I try my best to help you do that in the rookie draft kit, where we suggested targeting Ramondre Stevenson, Elijah Mitchell, Dameon Pierce, Khalil Herbert even. But pay attention to the running backs who get drafted on day 1 and day 2 of the draft as a whole. Let's move to Trey Benson, another back with great size. He tested extremely well at the combine with top-end speed, and he has the necessary explosiveness and power to hit the hole fast or get through contact. Jonathan Brooks is more of a north-south guy, but Benson likes to take things to the outside more often than he needs to. Kind of like what we've seen with Kenneth Walker. But that's where his big play ability comes from a lot of the time. 54% of Benson's career rushing yards have come on plays of 15 or more yards. And when you talk about making guys miss, no one did it at a higher rate than Benson during his career at Florida State. Among 607 eligible Power 5 running back careers over the last 10 years, he ranked 3rd among those guys in missed tackles forced per attempt. And I mentioned that power. The contact balance is on display too, and the numbers support it. Benson's 4 yards after contact per attempt, not yards per carry. This is yards after contact per attempt. Throughout his career was in the 95th percentile among Power 5 running backs over the last 10 seasons. And because he's a decent pass blocker in the backfield, there's a good chance Benson becomes a 3-down back at some point. He has to work on catching passes with his hands and not so much his body, but he has enough ability in the receiving game, especially after the catch, to be a factor there as well. We're looking at Benson to go off the board in the second round alongside Jonathan Brooks. Both of these guys have a lot of tread left in their tires. I think they're the only near locks to be second round picks this year, and they make up the two running backs in my first tier. Both of these guys should be targeted around the early second round of Dynasty Superflex rookie drafts, and then later in the first in non-Superflex rookie drafts. Behind Brooks and Benson, I have Tennessee's Jaylen Wright as one of my two running backs in my second tier. Ridiculous athlete. He destroyed the combine. He has a very solid size, speed, power combination. He's explosive through the hole when he needs to, and he shows patience while his blocks set up when he needs to. He knows when to switch between power and elusiveness. It's fun to watch. And he has that speed to take any run to the house. His 2023 season was bonkers. 7.4 yards per carry, which is absolutely insane. But he also combined that with 4.35 yards after contact per attempt, which fell into the 96th percentile among running back seasons over the last 10 years. We're talking almost 900 qualifying running backs here. He had a solid receiving season last year as well, but he's not as natural of a pass catcher as his numbers might suggest, and he also hasn't been asked to run any complex routes. So we'll see how that translates, because I do think he has it in him if he gets coached up. But he does have some pass blocking chops, which could have him on the field on passing downs, which would obviously increase his value as a result. The other running back in my second tier alongside Jaylen Wright is USC's Marshawn Lloyd. Keep in mind that he's 2 years older than Jonathan Brooks and Jaylen Wright, a year older than Trey Benson. It's also possible that he ends up not being drafted on day 2. I do think he deserves to be drafted on day 2. You watch him, it's hard not to like what you see. I saw him firsthand at the Senior Bowl. I liked what I saw there as well, especially in the receiving game. I think he was a bit underutilized in that respect at USC, but there's some untapped upside there. His route running is solid, his hands are there, and we know the after-the-catch ability is there as well. Just the big play ability in general is super apparent in Marshawn Lloyd's game. No running back in this class besides Trey Benson had a higher percentage of their rushing yards come from big plays, so that speed is apparent. He's a very good athlete, but it's not just a big play with Lloyd. You combine his explosiveness with his elusiveness, you have a special combination there. 0.33 missed tackles forced per attempt ranks in the 97th percentile among 600 qualifying Power 5 running back careers over the last 10 seasons. Similar to Benson, Lloyd does tend to bounce runs to the outside where he doesn't necessarily have to, but again, the big plays come as a result, right? He'll likely have to be a little bit more disciplined there in the NFL. The other thing he has to work on is correcting his fumbling issues. So let's hope for round 3 draft capital for Marshawn Lloyd, and if that happens, we're looking at grabbing him late in the second in Superflex rookie drafts and then mid-second round-ish in non-Superflex rookie drafts. By the way, once again, all my targets and avoids alongside rookie draft ADPs will be in my rookie draft kit, so make sure to stay tuned for that. Drop it on April 1st, upperhandfantasy.com. Now, I have to address Michigan running back Blake Corum. The word is that he's being considered as a third-round pick, but I'm not sure that's such a good idea, in my opinion. I think he's solid. He has some good traits. He has some good vision. He has explosiveness. He's patient behind the line of scrimmage. But he's a bit undersized. He doesn't consistently create on his own. And I think the production that he had was more so based on volume and opportunity than it was anything else. And I think the name value of Corum, along with being on a national championship team, the fact that he scored a zillion touchdowns in his career, mostly near the goal line, by the way, I think all of that is inflating his value quite a bit. Last year, his 2.42 yards after contact per attempt was second to last among this entire draft class and falls into the 11th percentile among more than 900 qualifying Power 5 running back seasons over the course of the last 10 years. What about Corum's elusiveness? 0.12 missed tackles forced per attempt. That ranked last in this class and falls into the 9th percentile. Like, that's bad. Like, if you got a 9 out of 100 on a test, that's usually not great. Now, if you look at these numbers over the course of his career, a little bit better, but still not great, right? Like, second to last in yards after contact per attempt in this class, and more so around the 50th percentile over the course of the last 10 seasons for both yards after contact and missed tackles forced. Corum's a decent athlete, but doesn't have that speed to really give you big plays. You know, I think there are a few running backs who will be drafted on day 3. There might be better options for NFL teams as well as for your dynasty roster. The other running back who might end up as a day 2 pick in the 3rd round is Braelon Allen, and I think there are more varying opinions on him than any other running back in this class. He's a lot of people's favorite runner, and I understand why. He has a nice combination of size, power, and speed. I think he can handle volume. He's a big back. He's tough to bring down. But he's not in that upper tier of running backs, for me at least, not yet. He's still very young. The youngest running back in this class. So maybe he can improve on his vision, which is a little bit questionable right now. He doesn't always pick the right holes and doesn't always have that feel for it. I don't think he's going to bring much in the receiving game either. But like I said, he won't even be 21 by the time he takes his first snap. So he does have some time to really improve his game. And I think he's the definition of solid as of right now. Now, if he gets drafted by the Chargers in the 3rd round, I'll be all over him, right? I do think Braelon Allen would fit more in a gap scheme than a zone scheme. So Greg Roman's system would actually be a great fit. I think one of the most disappointing combine performances, or lack thereof, was from Oregon running back Bucky Irving. You couldn't really test worse than he did. On top of that, he's undersized at 5'9", 192. He doesn't have the speed you want for those big plays either. At that size, you kind of hope he ran faster, right? But man, let me tell you, I just can't quit Bucky Irving. I just really like what he brings to the table. Is he a strong bet when you consider what I just mentioned? No, he's not. But you watch him play. He's a good football player. I like what he brings in both the run and the receiving game. His contact balance for his size is extremely obvious. It's just impressive when you watch. His burst through the hole is there. He's patient. And he makes guys miss with the best of them. And his 2023 season was absolutely bananas. Almost 600 total yards. That falls into the 98th percentile for total yards for a running back over the last 10 years among Power 5 running backs. Despite having a large workload, he remained extremely efficient, 6.4 yards per carry, 3.99 yards after contact per attempt. For a back his size, extremely impressive. That fell into the 89th percentile for running back seasons since 2014. I touched on his elusiveness. His 0.37 missed tackles forced per attempt last year ranked in the 98th percentile among all running back seasons over the last 10 years. And when we talk about career numbers, he's up there in efficiency as well. So it's just hard for me to watch him play, look at these numbers, and say he can't be productive in the NFL. I think he can be. I think he's going to fall to day 3 and be a 4th round pick, especially after his poor combine. But I'll be rooting for his landing spot, for him to get some opportunity. There's no doubt about it, because I just like what I see in his game. Another big back in this class who I like, but also didn't have the best combine performance, is Audric Estime. He seems to love contact. He plays very well through contact, but he moves a lot smoother, you can say, than a big back would. He was 2nd in this class in career yards after contact per attempt, only behind Jonathan Brooks. He was also 2nd in that category last year alone, which was actually more impressive than a lot of the guys around him, because he was the only one close to the top who had more than 200 carries while maintaining that level of efficiency. I also think he's more elusive than he's given credit for. I do agree that his change of direction isn't fast and he lacks that ability to quickly bounce to the outside when he needs to, but he forces missed tackles at a relatively high rate, especially at his size. I think he has a unique combination: power, speed, subtle moves, hurdling dudes and continuing to run. Like he's just fun to watch. That's why I kind of like him, right? More than Braelon Allen, to be honest with you. There's a chance he gets selected in the 3rd round, but 4th is looking more likely for him at this point. So I'm hoping for the best for his landing spot. Now, I do have several sleepers to talk about, some day 3 guys who we want to keep our eyes on. Maybe keep on our taxi squad just in case they get some opportunity at some point. If you want me to make a video on that, let me know in the comments here on YouTube. I'll also have all those sleepers and avoids and targets in my rookie draft kit. We are profiling 21 running backs, 25 wide receivers, and all the quarterbacks and tight ends that matter. Make sure to get your hands on it when it drops on April 1st. But you can start benefiting now because our Dynasty Kit is already out and you'll automatically get access if you're subscribed to that. Thanks for listening, guys. If you can subscribe and hit like on YouTube on this video, if you can hit subscribe in your podcast app, it would mean the world. I'll be back soon talking more rookies. See you guys later.